Welcome to the Golden Square Podcast with your hosts, Linda Scott and Sharilyn Fisher. Are you ready? Because we're starting right now, only on Stunner Radio, the heart and soul of the culture.
Hey, Sharilyn. How are you? We can't hear you. Sharilyn is traveling, everybody, so she may go in and out just in case she do. Sharilyn, can you hear us? Okay, so she can't hear us. So, hey, welcome to the Golden Square Podcast. It's Thursday night and it's 7 p.m. and we're ready for you. We've been two traveling young ladies in and outside of the country and just have an amazing time. So we just want to say welcome on this night. So listen, I am so okay, y'all. I'm gonna just be honest. I'm so tired. I'm still tired. And I do need some rest, but I couldn't go on. We couldn't go over. Our vacation is gone. It's over. It's time for us to come back and share our life with you. So our guest for tonight is the one and only Mr. Stephen Smith. Y'all know who he, well, some of you know, and then some of you don't, but by the night is over, you would know this is an amazing young man. And the things that God has brought him through can help others to achieve that same thing running from God. God is an awesome God and he covers all of us. So I don't know if we wanted to show you some of our pictures from our Alaska cruise. I know I went live on some parts of it. See, I can't hear my buddy. I don't know what's going on. But so anyway, I kind of want to wait for her to get connected so we can hear everything that she has to say. We just need to her to come on.
Turn off your camera, please, on your phone, and so we can add your audio. Thank you.
Okay, so the director is helping her get it together.
No, director, help me some more.
There she go, everybody. Hey, Sharilyn.
Hey, Linda.
Hey, Sharilyn is still traveling. See, I had to come get my rest. She's still traveling. So that's just some technical difficulties that we were having. So how are you today?
I am wonderful.
Great.
I just want to say thank you so much for sharing that adventure to Alaska with me. I wouldn't have wanted to do it with anyone else but you. We had you. We had so much fun.
But we really did. Listen, I'm glad I was the chosen one.
Yes, you were.
I am so glad. So for anybody who was supposed to go and didn't go, and I did.
Too bad.
Thank you. Oh my God, look at us. That's in Canada. Wasn't that beautiful?
Yeah, that was.
Oh my God. But you know, Sharilyn, I'm glad we're gone. And I'm not sure if we would have still been a part of that fire that they got going on.
Yeah, right.
Smoking up New York. So
do we look cold?
So glad and honored that we got a chance to see all this before any of that can take place. So see, it said, welcome to Canada. We were somewhere in that mix and everybody was just going crazy. It was absolutely beautiful. It was Sharilyn, look at this view. So people, this is where the bears were supposed to be coming out of. And I was like, okay, well, we don't have to see the bears. Don't bother them. If they sleeping, let them stay asleep. So everything was absolutely beautiful.
Was gone. I was trying to tell her something. Linda, look, y'all, there's the humpback whale.
That's the humpback whale. And for whatever reason, there was so many of them, we couldn't catch them all. By the time we get ready to take a picture of one, another one come. So it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. Yeah, I called her. She didn't think I caught that picture, but that's all these waterfalls is from the ice melting. and the glazier. It was absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful,
And I
beautiful.
can tell you, our pictures does this no good, no
Yeah.
good. It's absolutely beautiful. Oh, see there? That's what I'm saying. Look at the snow on the mountain. That's as close as I want to get to the mountain with the snow on.
But
You know,
what?
I did think, Sharilyn, that I could climb the mountain until we got a little closer, and I said, never mind.
But we never did figure out what those yellow things were in the mountains in the picture.
We didn't. I think someone said they were just like markers.
Oh,
So
okay.
what they were gonna do with them later on, I don't know. But I wanted to see the person who's gonna get up there and remove them.
Yeah, or sit up there and mark something up there.
Exactly. But they were markers and they were down inside of them because when we took the train ride and they were really, really close and you could see them inside where they can insert like maybe a flag or something. So
Let me ask you a question.
that's what I heard.
When did you see that on the plane ride? Because you had your eyes closed majority of the time.
No, but when I opened it and it was that tunnel that nobody told me about and it was pitch dark and I screamed. Yeah, that's when I saw all that. So I had to ask the question.
Okay.
Yeah, when I opened my eyes and saw that. But that was a great trip. And we tried to do our show out in Canada, but for whatever reason, we couldn't make it happen. But God knew best because he wanted us to enjoy his nature. And we did. We did. So
we were
the night.
Just a little bit cold.
Just a little bit. I think the coldness got to me when it drizzled. It wasn't no rain. It was drizzle. And of course, to them, that was rain. But that was drizzle and cold. Yeah, I was like, let's go ahead and do something else. Take me somewhere else. But Sharilyn, let's go ahead and go into the show because we might have to do 2, 3, 4, 5 parts on this young man tonight. Yes, so I don't want to miss any part of it. So
get started.
Yeah. So if our producer would bring on the one and only Stephen Smith, we ready. Hey, Mr. Stephen. Hey, how are you?
I'm good, ladies. How are you?
Good. Steve, let me just say this because I love when you say it. I love it. I get excited. Can you just tell everybody your motto? I love it. I'm sorry.
Sure. My motto is I am the high fashion priest. I can style you from Goodwill to Gucci, from a rummage sale to Rodeo Drive, from Walmart to Worth Avenue. I am the high fashion priest.
All right, then y'all heard it. Y'all heard it from him. I'd have said it, I'd have messed it up. He was from Dale Drive to over here across the street. So that's why I wanted him to say his motto. It's absolutely beautiful. Stephen, thank you so much for being a part of the show tonight. And as I was saying, and Sharilyn was saying, hey, let's get this going because there's so much to you. And we just want everybody to know.
We're probably gonna have to do a part 2, Stephen.
Yeah, this is a show where we know God is good and God is able to do all things. And you're sitting here as a what do you call it? A testimony of the goodness of God. So if you would just tell the people a little about yourself.
Okay. Well, thank you guys again for having me on the show. So just a little bit about myself. Born and raised in West Palm Beach. I grew up in a very unique household where I always say there was an angel and there was a demon in my house. The angel was my mom, the demon was my father. And it was a lot that went on in there, though it was a lot of laughter and fun. And my mother kept us in church in the times where we went through a lot with our father. She always tried to instill faith in us and love on us. She was the one that taught me about fashion, getting into the world of acting and just being myself regardless. But the dark side came and I ended up in a situation where I was going through a situation at home where I was molested, which I know we'll talk about later. And growing up, my life just seemed to spiral out of control. I was trying to smile through it all, laugh through it all, cover it up and mask it with clothing, fragrances, friends, dates, stealing, hustling, the gay lifestyle, all of that. But on the inside, I was really crying and dying at the same time. I am the youngest of 4. So I was always home by myself a lot, considering the age difference between the four of us. And a lot of crazy stuff started happening and just experiencing so much pain. And again, trying to smile and find laughter in the midst of it all. So yeah, I know we're gonna get deeper with this. I don't want to go too far because I know you may have many
Okay.
questions.
Right, right.
It gets
Um,
deep.
I know, and I'm so glad that you wrote your book, and I was excited about that. And the title of the book is "The Lifestyle of a Gay Hustler in a Straight World." I
Yes.
That part right there. Say, okay, let me read this.
Right.
How do we? Yeah, how do we do part one and two? How do you do that? So, um, going over your bio a little bit, Steve. I think I got to my pain produced my purpose.
Oh
And
wow.
I was saying that is a show all by itself.
Yes, it is.
Can you tell us a little bit about the pain that you said produced your purpose?
Okay. When I say the pain produced my purpose, before I wrote these books, all the pain I experienced between the molestation and the rape, the physical, the verbal abuse, the fighting and the drama, the chaos, the craziness in my household, watching my father do all type of abusive things to my mom, and there was nothing I could really do because I was a kid until we got older. Watching the cheating, the lying, the hurt, the pain, the rejection, being called out of your name from your own blood father, uh, being disrespected from people because they saw something in me that, because of what happened to me, they didn't know that their ignorance kicked in and would call me out of my name, fag,
Mm,
sissy, whatever. It got worse as I got older, and I say the pain produced the purpose because all that I've gone through in these books, that was the pain, and God turned it around for a purpose. When I
mm,
think of 8:28, where it says, "For we know that all things work together for the good of
really.
them who love the Lord, who's been called according to His purpose."
Right.
He said, "I will what you've gone through, and I'll turn it around for my glory," because He allows and He disallows.
Mm-hmm.
When He said He allowed all of that, I was upset with God.
Mm,
Mm.
I was
mm,
angry. I felt like I had a right to be angry. I felt
mm-hmm.
like I asked for an apology, and He has apologized to me. Believe it or not, He has.
That's what
For
I
allowing,
wanted to know. Did you go to him and say, I'm angry with you?" Because some people say, well, you can't ask God questions, you can't do this with God, you can't do that. And the only reason I'm asking that because I said to God that I was angry when He took my daughter away. So I want to know, um, Shirley, might be your feedback, but I want to know, did you go to God and tell Him that you were mad with Him, that I'm angry of how you started my life because He hasn't ended. You right here where He wants you to be. So that would be my question. Did you go to Him?
of course, because I felt like, if you're telling me to write these books and tell people everything about what I never wanted the world to know, then I have a right to ask you some questions.
Right.
And why would you allow me to go through all of that? Why would you allow me to be raped and abused, and my mom to go through this, my siblings to go through I mean, we went through some stuff that was so bad. And I know people probably have worse stories, but it was enough for me. And I wanted to know, why would you allow me to go through all of it?
Steve,
And,
my thing
and
on
he
that
told
is,
me,
hold on a sec.
Fixing that. Um, so is your father still living among you?
no, he died in 21.
Oh, okay. So were you ever able to say, or did you say to him, I forgive you, or he said, I forgive myself, or Steve, would you forgive me?
Yes, yes. Just to piggyback, I'm going to bring both of those questions together to get a
Uh-huh.
full understanding. Yes, I did ask God why. He told me, I allowed you to go through all of that because I wanted you to write these books, because I'm going to use your story for my glory.
Hmm.
And consider we live in such a sinful world, he allowed this to happen to me. He wasn't punishing me, but I felt like it was punishment. But he
Right.
allowed me to go through this so that I can show people that God loves them in this lifestyle. It doesn't matter what you think or feel, or what you hear other people say, or what the
Right.
pastor says, or what a family member says. God says different about you.
Wow.
And so he would take all of that, and I was still upset about it because it's like,
Mm.
couldn't you have done another thing? Couldn't you have gone another way?
Right.
Couldn't you have done else? Because there's some people that don't go through hardly anything and have a story to tell. But
Right.
again, everybody go through is different. So my go through was this, and I didn't like this because I was shamed, I was laughed at, I was picked at. I've had to have fights. I will say this. I thank God because my father was the type. If you came home and told me you lost, I'm whooping you next. So
Yeah.
I had to come home with a win or a bloody shirt, and it better not be my blood.
Right.
So I thank God that He taught me to defend myself. Though He knew what I was, He never got sat down with me to say what was going on. But yes, I was very angry with God, and God has apologized to me and asked me to
Mm.
forgive what He allowed to happen. But
Mm.
because God looks at things through wisdom and through grace, that the allowing of this is now people can relate to me from the lifestyle to say, hey, I know where you're at, I know where you've been. I don't have to throw scriptures. I can show them my scars.
Right.
Right, right.
Right.
Scars. All of these are my
Right.
scars. When I show them my scars, and then I'll show the other one with the greatest scars hand in all three of these books, then they'll understand and may want to get to know Christ even more because of what I've gone through. Now, segue into my father, it took me a while to forgive him.
Mm.
Uh, Actually, I had anger and unforgiveness in my heart for a long time. In 2015, a friend of mine called me. She was living in Fort Lauderdale at the time, and she
Mm-hmm.
said, "God has placed it on my heart to tell you to forgive your father," because I wasn't speaking to him.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when my mom passed in 2004, I found out a whole bunch of stuff that was going on with him and this woman and other women that I didn't know about because they knew
Mm-hmm.
if I was it was going to be a wrap. Not that I was going to tell you to stop seeing them. I was going
Right.
to let them know I better not ever hear you come into my mama house because I'm gonna visit yours, or I'm gonna
Okay.
visit your, or I'm gonna visit you at church. Playing
Okay.
about me. Don't play
Wow.
about her. I don't. I used to tell them I don't know what they told you, whatever they want to. One thing about me, I said I was gay, but I wasn't soft. Don't ever play with me.
Mm.
That one.
Wow.
So that would have been my take on it, but I was never told. But back to when she called me, I'm thinking, well, I really, in my mind, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't think it was such an issue, but I never really spoke to my father. He would call, he would ask my other siblings,
Siblings.
how's Steve doing? And there was nothing there, no communication because I was still angry from our childhood. Then this
Mm-hmm.
other bull crap stunt you pulled when she died. And then I said, okay. She said, God says you're holding up your blessings.
Wow.
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 Speak to him
Wow.
about that tonight. Thank you for that. And I said, I'm holding up my blessings. She said, yes. God says, you got to forgive him. And then you're thinking, okay, well, God said, if I forgive him, you're going to release the blessings I've been waiting on. I said, I forgive him. God said to me, that's no,
Yeah.
you haven't forgiven him. You have to
Yeah.
forgive him your heart and your mind. So you can
Mine.
forgive
Yes.
here, not here.
Yes.
You can forgive here and not here. He says,
Mm-hmm.
I need you here. And it makes you really think and it connected
Right.
to the point
Mm.
that I cried. I broke down and cried, and I actually forgave him in 2015. I did talk to him. At that time, he was starting to lose his memory, but I did give him a book. That was my only way of saying, read this book.
Mm.
And you understand where I'm coming from.
Wow.
But when he passed in 21, I did eulogize him because
Oh,
I forgave
Oh, great.
great. Great. So let me ask you this, Steve. So
Oh, excuse
when you went to visit him and to say, Dad, I'm sorry, how was his reaction to you?
From what I can recall, is he just kept saying, "I love you, son." He said, I love you, and I ask you to forgive me. I know that I wasn't the best father, and I apologize to all the things that I've done to you. And you know, basically that's where it was because he wasn't really a big talker to us.
Mm-hmm.
In the streets, he was the king. He was the wizard. He was wise. He was
Everything.
all that. He was
Yes.
a wealth of information. At
Right.
home, it was dodging bullets and trying to get out his way.
Right.
Not for us.
Right. Oh my
So
God. I am so honored that you are here with Sharilyn and I to tell your story, because we always know and we always say if it happened once, it happened to someone else, but they were just afraid to come out and speak about
oh
what
yeah.
they had gone through. And now from the day I met you, I'm trying to see what day you was afraid to tell anybody anything, cuz yeah, Steve, if you thought it, this is how it's supposed to be. This
It
is
came out.
who you are. So
Yes. Help it.
cause I never would have thought when you say a hustler, what do you mean about a hustler? How I know what hustling is. I do it every day. But what did you mean as a gay hustler in a straight world?
Well, my hustling actually started when I was in elementary school.
Shut up.
I knew nothing about my father or my grandfather or great grandfather, what they did. I found out that they were moonshine hustlers when I was doing research for my book.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about it. I just had a natural instinct to sell things.
Mm.
And I was always a big boy. Got my allowance, and I would go buy a bunch of junk food for my daily little, white kids had fruits and vegetables. I had cookies and donuts and pancakes, surprises and lollipops and foolishness like
Right.
that. My mother would let me eat it because she always cooked healthy meals. So that would be my
Mm-hmm.
treat. So when I would go to school, which was predominantly white, I would sit at the table and the kids would ask me for something to eat. And it's like a light bulb came on, like, and I
Yeah.
would say, "Give me quarter," and it's like they would scrounge around and dig in their pockets. The white kids had changed. I guess because at that time I was on like special lunch programs, so I couldn't get nothing extra than what was presented to
Given.
us. I'll
Right.
go back and buy little things and come back, and I'm like, well, I got my snacks. But when that happened, a light came on,
Mm-hmm.
and I sold every piece of product in my bag. And when that happened, I was sitting at third grade thinking, I would make me some money. Oh my
Okay.
gosh. So I would work extra hard, get extra allowance, and go. And my mom would let me go to the store. I got me an extra pencil box. So my pencil box was one with money, and the other was my product. So
Okay.
I was doing so well that it got so much attention that the I had to like literally tell them we need to go. Like I was signal. I don't know how they spread this to all the other kids at the other tables, but I would tell them when I get up, I'm going to the bathroom.
That's
Come
it.
get your stuff. And I
Right.
realized sugar is like sugar. They can't compare it to cocaine because it has that same effect.
Right.
So it became addictive because they weren't getting it at home. White
Right.
kids. Not saying black kids, but the white kids, you get this on the weekend, you get it as a treat. But
Uh-huh.
lines.
Wow. Wow.
One day I got caught
Mm.
by a teacher, and it was terrifying because all the kids scattered like roaches, and I'm sitting there like, and they took me to the principal's office. And at that time, there were no cell phones. Just so happened that my father, who was a supervisor, he always had great jobs. I would give that kudos to my dad. He was always a
Uh-huh.
supervisor. He just so happened to be right down the street from my elementary school. And my dad was 6'4", 290 pounds.
Wow.
You do the solid.
Yeah. Yeah.
He would pick up with one arm and with us. I said, he going to kill me in this car. I'm dead. I might as well go in the house while I'm walking with him because they're going to find me dead on the ground anyway. So when my father came And they showed him our product and showed him all this money. And I've been doing it for over a month.
Yeah.
He bust out laughing in that man's face. And that man said, "This is not funny. Mr. Smith, he's selling products." He's suspended for 3 days. And my father took me home and laughed. And he looked down at me and said, "Oh, it's you. You're going to be just like me." I didn't know what that meant. Word. But he saw that I had that same drive. And then when I wrote my book, I found out that they were hustlers with moonshine back in like Sylvania area of Georgia. So back then they had workers because the white people didn't allow them to make no extra money. So they had so many people working for them that if anything went down, they would alert them and they would move their moonshine somewhere else.
Wow.
So now, as far as the hustling in my books, it started, but my hustling was white collar. My first one was boosting. It was tearing the sensors off because I was the flyest. You're gonna catch them, be clean everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So I was tearing the sensors off. Then I discovered something called in chapter 4 here. If you guys can see it, it's right here. It's called the Four Line Bag. Right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Four Line Bag. That's where I went to another level with my hustling when I went to Atlanta with some friends of mine. And that was one of the scariest trips because of what they were taking on the road. If you get my drift, it wasn't no clothes.
Right.
And I just happened to be driving and they had to fix it to a way that it would not be noticeable. And we got stopped and all I could do was pray. I see you up here doing wrong, but you praying. And when they walked that dog around that car, I politely handed them keys right to my cousin. I said, "Here you go. I'm not driving up and I'm not driving back. So out of here." So when I got up there, one of her girlfriends was like, "We're going to go out. I'm going to go shopping." So I'm thinking, she lives in a beautiful house, northern Georgia, beautiful past Kennesaw. So we're going to notice we're going to the ghetto, but it's still nice clothes in the ghetto. But we didn't go to a mall. We went to our home, our huge apartment. The apartments are huge in Atlanta. So when we pull up, I'm thinking they're going to pick somebody else up because now we're riding the Mercedes to go to the mall.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case. When I walked in, I was in Saks, Neiman Marcus. I was in Prada, Gucci, you name it. When I walked in this inside of the apartment.
Wow.
It was an apartment she rented for clothes only. She had racks, no furniture, nothing in this apartment.
Wow.
And I looked around and I saw the first section and all the other fine leather section. And I'm saying, how are you getting these clothes out of here? And there's not a piece torn. And I looked more, I was very observant, and I saw one of the ladies taking the sensors off with a machine, with a gun and the electric machine.
Yeah.
So I'm asking her, how are y'all getting these clothes out of here? She told me, didn't you come to shop?
Right.
Your business is to go in that room and find what you want for men. You worried about the wrong thing. Right. So me with my mouth, I looked up and I saw my cousin and her friend talking to the lady and giving her the money. I said, "Oh, you're the worker. You're the employee. You're the do girl." Okay. Wow. I'm talking to the wrong person. Let me go over here. She was red and hot as fish grease. The lady was like, "Oh, sure, baby, I'm going to show you how to do it. You ain't going to interfere with my business. I'm going to show you." So she told me, you take this line, you take this aluminum foil, you wrap it around a bag, then you take the gray duct tape, you wrap it good. Make sure you get the real aluminum. Don't get that cheap aluminum foil. She said, when you drop the clothes in, roll it up tight, and it's going to deflect the sensors from going out from the machines.
Oh, wow.
You ain't going to do it. You holler, "Oh, wow." Like, okay, now I got it. Ooh, Lord. Steve. So, okay, because you're blowing my mind. And the only reason I'm saying that you're blowing my mind is because my family, back in the day, I can say they was hustlers. I babysat while my aunt and my uncle go do whatever they did. And I came back. They came back. I had new clothes. That's all I'm talking about. That's it. So,
you plead the
no,
right?
okay. I can't touch any of that right there. But it's amazing what we see and what we recall in our brains on things that took place over our lives. And that's a part of your hustle game, because in order for you to know anything about real drive and all those things, you had to be there. You had to be in that light to understand, and for us to understand, where you're going. Because I remember one weekend you came to Houston. I can't remember where we were going, and I had a leather skirt. And I said, I don't think I want to put this on. Cece, yes, you want to put it on. And he pulled it all the way up to, it was a tube top for me. I was like, oh, this is cute. All right, you got me on this one right here. So, I am so grateful to you, Steve, about a lot of things. I really want to go a little further in knowing, did you... Let us go on a break. Let's go on a break. Let's do that. Let's go on a break. I'd rather end it right here with a nice little see you later. We'll be right back. So let's take a break, and we'll be right back with Mr. Stephen Smith himself.
If you're looking for custom handcrafted fashion jewelry that makes a statement, look no further than Linda S. Jewelry, 1426. We specialize in quality pieces fit for any occasion. Follow us on Facebook at Linda S. Jewelry 1426 to view our inventory or to make a purchase. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you.
Okay, thanks for coming back, and thank you so much, Steve. So, Steve, let me ask you, because I've been trying to ask people this question for a long time. When your father, because that's who you said was who molested you, correct?
No, not my father.
Okay, so it was a family member?
Yes, it was an in-law.
Oh, okay. All right, that changes everything. And thank you, Jesus. I am so honored to know. Okay, thank you. But let's see. When that took place, did you know that was wrong?
No. And I say that because I was around 9 years old.
Okay.
I'm 9.
Okay.
I didn't know anything about sex. I didn't know what was what. I'm a kid. I'm playing games, watching TV, having fun with my friends. I didn't know it was wrong because I was manipulated to think that it was right.
Okay.
I was tricked here before anything happened here.
Right.
The manipulation before the molestation. Months in advance.
Okay.
It was a while before the actual situation happened.
Okay.
And this person treated me as their son. Like, you love your children, you still love your daughter to this day. Treated me like a son, like how everything that a son needed from a father, I was receiving that. And because I received abuse with my father, see, the devil knew what he was doing. That pulled me in because I was getting everything I needed: the attention, the time, the help, the homework, conversations, everything.
Okay, so that you answered a lot of questions, and again, forgive me if I said your father, because for whatever reason, I don't know why I thought it was your father, but thanks for clearing that up for me. That meant a lot. But now I'm learning how we as kids get caught up in the craziness. And your explanation is, I am a child. I was being mental and physically abused by my father. Whereas when this man came in and say, hey, Whatever you need, I'm here. Like you said, he gave you the love that a father should be giving his son, helping you with homework and playing with the mind. That mind is that's a dangerous thing right there. That mind is something else. So when he played with your mind and then got you in to think, we'll just say, Mr. John, that Mr. John was all that. He would not do anything to hurt you, not knowing he is hurting you.
Yes.
So then after that, then is when the sexual part came about.
Yes.
So we still stuck with oh, it's okay. Excuse me. It's okay if he touch me right here. He's okay because that's Mr. John and he loves me.
But it was how do I put this? It was almost like if you don't do this, I can't do that.
Mm.
If
Mm.
you don't agree to this, I can't agree to be everything that I discussed earlier, the time and attention,
Right.
the if you don't do this, then I can't do that. And all that my I craved it, Miss Linda.
Right.
I sat at windows because I was a latchkey kid, which is another chapter in my book.
Right.
And people need to watch their children when they have them as latchkey kids.
Right.
But I the attention, the love, the affection. It was nothing sexual at all at first.
Right.
It was that fatherly love
Right.
that was missing before
Wow.
the act. So it was a manipulation. If you don't do this, then I can't do that. And then
Is
I was
that,
like, okay,
go ahead and I'll do this because I want what I was feeling in the
right,
beginning from you. And
right.
love is something else when you don't get it and then you receive it. And it's like, oh, this is love. This is how I supposed to be treated. And as a young lady, I can say, you know, I have one incident in my life where it was not my family member. I think I knew better. One thing, for one, you allowed me to get old enough to know what you even thinking about is wrong. And this one particular guy will always, Linda, here I bought you this. Oh, thank you. Here I bought you this. Oh, thank you. So not knowing, or you should have known, that my dad taught all of his girls about love and what a man's supposed to do and so forth and so on. And I had a boyfriend at the time, so all I'm gonna do is get it and say thank you and keep going. Whereas you were saying, I'm giving you these gifts and now
Call
I
time
want you to
love.
be my girl, but you wanted me to be this girl that was in the streets. Is you crazy? Let me go tell my daddy what you just said. No, 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 no. Well, then why would you want that to happen if you didn't want me to discuss that with my father? So when you know what love is from a parent, let me just discuss a parent, from a parent, then when that outsider, you're not getting it and that outsider come in, that works on our brains, that and our heart. And if anything would have happened to Mr. John, you would have went crazy because you would have, hey, that man loves me and he's taking care of me and he's doing this and that, not knowing what he was leading up to. You know what I'm saying? So I just I guess my question would have been, as you just actually answered, was how did you, how and when did you give in to say, okay, Mr. John, in order for you to do that, I got to do this?
Again, it was so long ago. I think it had to be, I believe, either right away or a week or month. I'm not really sure.
Sure.
But the way that it happened was
Mm-hmm.
we were sitting watching TV. We were just watching TV. Then the next thing I know, I feel his hand on my leg like this.
Right.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Because my father's never touched me like that.
Right.
He's never touched me at all. He never hugged us, nothing. Only love and hugs I got was from my mom and my brother.
Mm.
And that's when he started saying those things.
Mm.
Point.
Okay. So
So I don't know how long it was before it actually got to that point because that was the first point of contact that was like intimate. Now that I know, and it was like, what? I gotta do what? Because he was like, if you don't do this, then I can't come over. I can't do this. I can't do that. Da 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 da. Da.
mm,
And I'm like, okay,
that's that's touchy right there. I just want to hit Mr. John in the head. But did you confine in anyone? Did tell your mom, your dad? Did you hold this in? Was that a part of him? You can't tell because I can't do this for everybody.
uh, I never told anybody,
Mm-hmm.
not even my best friend. Um, and I did hold it in, and I always look for that person all over again. I look for
Mm,
that. I was like I was putting their face on everybody else because I was
mm,
looking for that feeling, those
mm-hmm.
emotions, those sayings, those words all
Right.
over
Hmm.
again. And but I never told anyone. I just lived it out. I just
Wow.
lived. It is what it is.
Right.
It's going to be, and this is what I'm going to do.
I that that comes from me talking to um people using drugs is the question I would always ask, why would you do this? And it's like what you just stated, you were chasing that one high that you could never receive again. And you didn't know you wasn't going to receive it again because you kept running for it to try to say, okay, so is this person going to touch me like that? Am I going to feel this way, with that person? So um in talking to young ladies at an early age, I always always, I don't know how good it does, but I always tell, now don't let those little jokers start touching you, because there's a feeling in there that you begin to go, oh my God, that feels good. And they say, you 9 months later, you pregnant. So that seems like
Hmm.
guys who I've spoken to who say the same thing. They was chasing that emotion, that physical feeling that person knew so well how to put it on you. And when you hear the words "put it on you," that's what that mean, and you never know, because it's like, girl, I'm gonna put this on you. And what does that mean? And that is the emotion and the physical touching that one man gives you. That's not one man. Yeah, one man, first woman, whomever, give you, and you do chase that feeling, and you cannot get it. You can't, that's not how he or she did it. That I'm missing something. So let me go to the next woman or man, still chasing that same feeling. So did you did you have a relationship with one person, or did you just say, okay, no, that's not it, let me go somewhere else? Because
It was
I'm that girl. I didn't have,
yeah.
I didn't stay long. You Steve, I was that girl.
Listen,
And to this day I'm still that. I don't fool with you. Let move on, go ahead. But did you?
I did not stay because it's like I mean at that time I just actually came out. It was gay since junior high school. So
Hmm.
it was me and my best friend. We were gay. We would fly. We would travel everywhere, living a life. His mom them had money, so we had the best of everything. And I was just out. So it was dating different people, different scenarios, situations. And at that time, I didn't date you if you were out, if you were
Hmm.
gay, that was not happening. I only
Wow.
wanted to be like that person, act like that person, and that's all I would attract to like bisexual men all the
So,
time.
Steve, you just hit you okay, so now of course I have a lot of friends who like what they like. Let me put it that way. And
Right.
one of my friends made that same comment that you just made, that he would not date guys who were gay. I'm like, but that is so wrong. How do you not like guys who are gay and you saying that you are gay? But that's not what he wanted. So now I can pick up the phone after the show and say, okay, Joker, I see what happened. So he was still, I would say, chasing that same emotion, that same physical touch that a gay guy can't give him. Period. So am I correct or what?
You're right. And it is because when I say gay, you think of feminine, flamboyant,
Right.
uh, just have feminine ways, girly ways, like having a lot of gay friends, being
Mm-hmm.
around a lot of gay people, like to go to the gay clubs, do gay
Mm-hmm.
things, all of that, ballrooms, pageants, those type. I did not want to deal with them at
Right.
all. It took me years to even think about dating somebody like that.
Wow.
For that, like you said, that high, that
Yeah.
same to feel that thing, Mr. Johnny, Mr. Johnny syndrome. If that's what
Right.
you want. So yeah, he was right. He's
Wow.
correct.
Wow. And they were, oh, well, I ain't talking about him, but to um to go into the um the lifestyle of these people, which I always say, now that's wrong. He don't, you got a wife at home, and you're still doing this, and you're looking at doctors, lawyers, and all these people, and that's Steve. Wow, you've opened my eyes. I promise you, I'm gonna call him as soon as we get off the phone. Joker, now I know. So, but he probably was already telling me. I just wasn't interpreting what he was saying. So, wow, okay. So now that you've gone through all of that, when did you decide that that's not the lifestyle that I want anymore? There is a woman out there waiting for me. Now, let me just say this on your behalf. From the time that you and I've known each other, that you've always told me I'm going to get married. And she has to be, how you wanted her to be. And so, when
Listening.
when did you decide, Steve, that I'm ready
Well,
for this? This is my change.
well, God had to do some cleaning first. Take
Right.
this off. Now you got me sweating. See, God had to do the cleaning first
Mm-hmm.
before he did the preparing. I mean the presenting. There was a
Okay.
cleaning before the presenting. So I had to go through the cleansing phase, the whatever he did to purge me from that lifestyle. One was break disconnected from anybody that I was dating, any lover, anybody that I was communicating with. That was the first
Mm-hmm.
thing. The second thing he had me to stop doing was to stop going to the ballroom scene, to the balls. I was a part of that
Right.
world.
Right.
So that was another thing. He had to take me through a process and cleanse me of that. And none of this was easy.
I can imagine.
And and you got to realize it was not my call to want to get out because I was still searching and seeking and wanting that love of a father that I still felt like I didn't get.
Yeah.
I was pouring it into my ballroom kids, and then anybody that would come along that I would date, that I would pour it into them. So as he was removing those different things, I was still struggling with the second thing. The first thing, I was like, oh, I'm okay. The second thing, going back and forth to the ballroom, I eventually stepped down as the father, but I was still going back to it, hanging out with them, not walking, maybe judging or just coming to support.
Mm-hmm.
But then God spoke to me and told me that has to stop too. He talked to me. So you gotta let that go. So as I moved on from that, now I'm going through all these other transitions and changes in my life that I'm feeling like, oh gosh, I want to go back. This is too much. It's a whirlwind. I can't do this. Yada yada yada. And then God would just constantly just keep on taking me to where He needs me to be. Now, fast forward, I
Wait, Steve, don't go forward yet, because I have to do one more commercial. And as soon as
okay.
we do this commercial, we'll be right back in 3 minutes, 3 seconds. All right, we'll be right back.
Okay.
If you live in Houston and surrounding areas and are in need of quality childcare, contact Cuckoo's Treasures today. We provide professional childcare in a caring and nurturing environment. Do you work second or third shift or don't have a typical schedule? Cuckoo's Treasures can assist you. We're open 24 hours and some weekends. Give us a call today at 346-313-9064. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you.
Hey, welcome back. I'm here with Mr. Stephen Smith, the author, tonight, because we could talk about the fashion a whole nother night and you'll be blown away. But the author tonight, the lifestyle of a gay hustler in a straight world. So continue, Stephen, in going over step 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, so step 1, break up with any lovers, any partners. Get off the chat lines, get off the sex lines, get off the date lines, get off the night lines, whatever lines, get off of them.
Right.
Stepping down from the ballroom scene. I was the father of the House of Milan for over 15 years between Atlanta and started in Miami. He told me to step down from that, but I was still continuing in that world. But God sent a word to say that the devil was laughing at him. And I was like, what? Like, I'm not sleeping around. I'm just hanging out with them. And God said, the ballroom scene. That's why he's laughing at me. You got to let it go.
Yeah.
So I eventually stepped down with tears, and I had to live this regular life. I was like, this regular old boring life, and figure out what I'm going to be doing. You know, he's blessed to be able to meet people like yourself in the fashion world, and I thank God for that and other things that I was doing. And he was cleaning me up. The temptations were there. I'm not saying that they weren't. I'm not no superhuman. And it didn't happen overnight. It didn't leave overnight.
Right.
But it got to the point that God was removing those desires. And then I remember I went to a deliverance service at my church. And I'm thinking, I'm good. I don't do none of that stuff no more. I might communicate with them from time to time. I don't want any of that. Well, that was the case. Because whatever angel or demons are assigned to you, they're there until something happens to one or the other.
Right.
And the man came up to me and said, he touched me. He said, the Holy Spirit showed me that you have a demon on your back. I said, what? I was like, what are you talking about? He said, you have a demon on your back. I was like, no, I don't. He said, God has shown me. So he performed what he had to perform, and he kept touching my back, and I felt it crawling up my back.
Wow.
To the point that he was like, don't say anything, don't talk to it. And as he was telling it in the name of Jesus, come off of him, I felt it crawling up more and more. And then eventually I heard him say, I can't let you go. And then the man said one more time, it hit me, and it just, and I went forward, and it flew off of me. And I felt a change that night.
Wow.
And then here it is years later, I want to say about 2019, I better get this right. Right, babe? 19.
Okay.
I met this young lady that I've known for over 20 years already, because she used to hang out with me and her cousin who's gay. And we used to all hang out. I said, oh, she's my wife. She's pretty. We used to have like, general conversations and stuff like that. And eventually we got to the point of praying together, because she said she was moving up here, and God moved her right around the corner from me, like literally 5 minutes.
Wow.
And we just were friends. And then we were in a fast one day, and it was a dry fast. And I heard it so clear that he said, that's your wife next to you.
Wow.
What? That's your wife next to you. And then we consummated it right then, like just love,
Hmm.
kiss, and stuff like that. And I had to get to know to love a woman in that manner because I've never been with a woman sexually, never.
Wow.
That was never. So I
Toya,
had
Toya
to.
wants to know. Toya said God gave you attraction for women. Are you already were attractive to women as well?
Okay, okay. To answer this, y- y- I've always been attracted to women.
Right, because you was attracted to me. Tell them now.
Yes, Miss Linda was the first.
Go ahead.
But I've always been attracted to women. I just never saw women in that manner because that was taken away from me. My
Mm,
my masculinity was snatched away from me. But I've always been attracted to women. The way you guys look, your hair, your skin, your smell, the body type, everything. I always loved the beauty of a woman.
wow.
Now, to answer that, um, God brought. He had to help me to get to that place of loving the woman he has for me, and not only
Mm,
loving her, pleasuring her in different ways, and pleasing her at all times. He
mm-hmm.
had to teach because I didn't. Nobody ever taught me that.
Taught you
I
that.
didn't know
Yes.
how to. I didn't know as a grown man
Yeah. Yeah.
because everybody is so busy looking down on, oh, you're gay, you're this, judging, even in the church to the point of, you really don't know what's going on in my life, do you? That's why I have to love God. Love me enough to the point that I have to pay you no attention because you don't
Right.
understand that you may be delivered from anything. Weren't you delivered from something?
Okay, so let me
So
ask you a dumb question, Steve, because I can't let the night go without.
never.
So I know you guys are engaging and I'm gonna talk to you. So are you ready and exactly how to make this woman feel like a woman?
Yes.
Hmm. That's why
Yes.
she's still there.
Uh
Uh,
huh. she back there giggling.
and when you called me and told me this, I said he always said he was gonna get married. And you always I have never well, yes I did, because you showed me a picture. But prior to that, the woman how you described her and everything was like he really gonna get him a woman and settle down. And
Yeah.
I to this day still say I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I want whatever God has put together that no man could never break up. Period. That and I'm glad to see that she supports you, and I know you support her. That's not even a thing, but I am glad to see that she's still by your side and pushing you to do whatever it is that you like doing, which is on that fashion, and now you on the acting scene. It's so much to you, and God has opened that door for you that no man could close. You just have to understand that, and she does, and just go through with what he has for you, and I'm happy for you.
Thank you, Miss Linda. I appreciate it.
Oh, that's it right there. So it's almost that time for us to go, and I really done because there's so much that I wanted to ask you, but you
You said
we can do two-part because there are some other things to all of this. It's just not one book and one chapter. It's so much to you, and I know that there are other people who are going through just what you're going through, and you are here to help them. So you are meeting your purpose, and I'm glad that you said, "Okay, God, I surrender to this," because I don't know if I can tell anybody thing because I'm still doing what I'm doing. So the cleansing that he did, as you say, the procedures that it took to go step by step, I'm glad that you follow those. Is there any way or where can people reach you at, Steve?
Sure. My link tree is going to be on here. They can reach out to me on there. Uh, I believe my phone number is on there, my email address, all of my social media handles, even links to my books if they desire to purchase, if they're looking for me to speak, host, anything. It's all on my link tree page.
Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank you for spending your hour with Steve Smith. I don't know, Sharilyn is traveling and she got disconnected, but the show has to go on. But Steve, I commend you. I always love you. I'm always be here for you as long as God has me on this side of heaven. You get whatever I got. So thank you for allowing us to go into your world that nobody knew, but somebody wanted to know how to get out. So thank you. And I want to thank all our viewers for joining in and welcoming us back from our vacation because it was long. But I thank everyone and we'll see you again the same time next. Well, if it's a second part, Steve, we'll let you know soon as later on. All right.
Okay.
So thank you all
Well,
so much. Thank you again, Steve, for being our guest.
thank you,
And hey,
guys.
everybody, go have a best day, blessed day. And if nobody told you you were special, you're a special person to me.